Yo 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 yo! What's up, y'all? It's the first day of Advent of Code. I'm already too many hours behind because a lot of people have already solved it. But I don't care that much about actual winning or something like that, so I'm also drinking water out of my trusty Socrates bottle. It will inspire me to write great code. Yeah, you know the deal. Advent of Code. It's a yearly coding exercise streak or period. 25 days following the Advent. Every day you get one exercise, and when you solve the first one, you'll get a part 2. And then once you solve that one, you'll get 2 stars. Great. And every year there's a little bit of a lore around it. Always has to do something with Christmas at least. So let's find out what it is this year, shall we? So day 1, Sonar Sweep. You're minding your own business on a ship at sea when the overboard alarm goes off. Oh noes. You rush to see if you can help, and apparently one of the elves tripped and accidentally sent the sleigh keys flying into the ocean. Facepalm. Before you know it, you're inside a submarine the elves keep ready for situations like this. It's covered in Christmas lights, because of course it is, and it even has an experimental antenna that should be able to track the keys if you can boost its signal strength high enough. There is a little meter that indicates the antenna's signal strength by displaying 0 to 50 stars, and your instincts tell you that in order to save Christmas, you'll need to get all 50 stars by December 25th. Collect stars by solving puzzles. 2 puzzles will be made available on each day in the Advent calendar. The second puzzle is unlocked when you complete the first, and each puzzle grants 1 star. Good luck! So, that's like the lore of this year, and then they go straight into the first exercise or puzzle. As a submarine drops below the surface of the ocean, it automatically performs a sonar sweep of the nearby sea floor. On a small screen, the sonar sweep report, so the puzzle input appears. Each line is a measurement of the seafloor depth as the sweep looks further and further away from the submarine. Yeah, so this would be like at meter 5 distance away from us, the depth would be 199, then 200, then 208, then 210, then 200 again. So it also goes up again. This report indicates that scanning outward from the submarine, the sonar sweep found depths of 199 and so on. The first order of business is to figure out how quickly the depth increases, just so you know what you're dealing with. You never know if the keys will get carried into deeper water by an ocean current or a fish or something. To do this, count the number of times a depth measurement increases from the previous measurement. There is no measurement before the first measurement. In the example above, the changes are as follows. Yeah, so from when it went from 199 to 200, it increased. Then from here it also increased, and then from 210 to 200 it decreased. In this example there are 7, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7 that are larger than the previous measurement. How many measurements are larger than the previous measurement? Okay, nice. So really we can already start writing our first test by this puzzle input. So I've got my trusty IDE IntelliJ ready to go. This would be the test input. And then we'll also get our actual input. I have the feeling like I'm going to switch a lot between these 2 windows, so maybe let's do that. Here's my actual input. Okay, on my 2000 lines. Nice. And here it's only 10. Okay. Okay, Lois, let's go. So let's write all write our first test. We don't need the git keep anymore. Okay, I'll already have to restart my IntelliJ because all of the pop-ups are popping up on this screen over that screen over there. We cannot have that. By the way, someone told me that there's a new game on mobile that looks really fun. It's called Rocket League Sidesweeper or something. Highly recommend. It's really fun. I mean, if you like Rocket League, you will probably also like this one. Sideswipe. It's called. My bad. Ali IntelliJ, what's up? For some reason, I always have to start it twice. There we go. Let's wait until it's loaded again. And then I can probably just drag it. And I guess I'll need to put it back into yeah, like this will be fine. Put it back in presentation mode. Oh. I guess we'll wait a little bit until the scanning files to index thing is done. Voila. Back into presentation mode. And then hopefully you will be able to see the pop-up. Ah, voila. Let's create a new test called day 1 test or something. Yes, please add it to Git. Then we'll create a new test. Indexing. Jesus. Fun. Example input should return 7. Increases. All right, and then we can read in our file, which we already set up yesterday. So we can just access it by using the string, and then we'll do test input.txt. And I think we already wrote like some kind of a parse into something, but maybe I'm only interested in getting the lines for now. So let's do read lines or something. I think I wouldn't forget what we already wrote. It's as a stream. Okay, yeah, maybe we'll do read lines instead or something. That makes way more sense, I think. It doesn't return a buffered reader. Voila. Now we don't need that shit anymore. We did probably break some tests now though. We no longer need the S stream. We can just straight up use .readLines. Voila. Okie doke. So indeed I want a JUnit 5 test. And then we'll do read lines. Yep. We'll assign this to that. And then when we assert that solve one read lines is equal to 7, and then our solve one is gonna take in this lines maybe, which is a list of strings, and it should return a uint maybe. I'm making assumptions now. Can it be negative as well or no? I want to import assert j, yes please. Voila, and now instead of doing or returning to do, what we should probably do is have a method body and then just return 0, run our tests. Let's run all of the tests in one go. As we have a drink. Gotta hydrate when you're sick or ill. Oh boy. We can already start thinking about how we are going to do that. So because it's a list, we can do maybe a map with or some by with indexed or something, if that exists, where we always look at the previous index. So for this one, we shouldn't look at an index, or we should deal with or try to deal with null or something. So for this one, it will be at index 1. If we look at what the value was of the index before this one, and if it's lower, then we'll append or something, or return or increase some counter or something that we can do. Now here you can see it shows that it was increased, and here it shows that it was decreased. So maybe we should try to take that into account. Now what we also could do is do this. So if you only have a list of one element, the only return item that you get out of that would be NA, no previous measurement or something. I don't know if we should do that. If we should do it proper. Let's try to do it, make it working first and then implement it properly. So we'll do lines, and maybe in this case it's not actually lines, it would be depth measurements. Because every line represents a depth measurement, right? What can we do with this thing? Let's just for each or something. There's no for each indexed. Yeah. For each indexed. Index. And then here's the measurement or something. And then we just check if index not is null or something, I don't know. Let's keep another list somewhere, a mutable list that we can keep on updating. So increases or something. It's a mutable list which can be empty. Maybe we can just keep a counter instead. Why don't we do that? So 0. And then what we'll do is we'll check measurement index. If this thing is larger than index -1, then we want to increases, we want to add to the counter. and otherwise we don't do anything, and then we just return increases. Voila. Now let's see if that fixes it. Oei, index out of range 3. Oh, derp. So not measurement then. Ah, wait. So this is probably just measurement. If that thing is larger than the measurement of depth measurements at index -1, so the previous one. Let's make that a little bit more obvious. Previous measurement. So you can also get stuff on the string. That's why it worked. All right, let's see if we can just return this example input. So here's a actual input. Should return question mark increases. We don't actually know it, so let's do actual input. Let's keep it to 7 and then just run it. And then we'll get our output in our test result. Voila, 1789. Let's see if that's the correct response. Oi. Your answer is too low. We might have a bug in our code then. Or empty lines or something. No, we had both ones. No, we don't have empty lines at all. Okay. The issue is probably that measurement here is a string, and we're comparing strings to strings instead of integers. I think that might be it. Let's see if we get a different output. So let's do 1789, and it should be different. Yeah, make IntelliJ happy. It is different, and it is higher this time. 1791. Let's see if that's the answer. Yay! Continue to part 2. Oh, fuck me. Considering every single measurement isn't as useful as you expected, there's just too much noise in the data. Instead, consider sums of a 3-measurement sliding window. Again, considering the above example, or the below example, I guess. So now we not only have depth measurements, but some extra stuff here. A and AB and ABC, etc. Start by comparing the first and second 3-measurement windows. Marked A. Ah, okay. I see now. There's some is. So we have to group. That's why they had a sliding window. So you always take 1, 2, 3, and then advance 1, and then 1, 2, 3. There's some. The second window is marked B. Its sum is 618. The measurements in the second window is larger than the sum of the first. So this first comparison increased. Okay, so now we not just have to compare one by one, but instead do it via sliding windows. Okay. is to count the number of times the sum of measurements in this sliding window increases from the previous sum. To create, yeah, makes sense. There are 5 sums that are larger. Okay. Do we first want to refactor now or not? I don't know. We could just write a solve2 function as well. Huh? Maybe what we should do is do an inner class puzzle1 tests and then wrap all of these. I think we need to use @nested for that. And then this should still run or work. Voila. Oh yeah, now we can also update this thing. So 1791. So, and then we'll just do the same thing, but for puzzle 2. Here it would be 5. 5. And then this number is different. So this would be solve2. Solve2. So there's also integers coming out of that. It's fine. And now we not only want to just do for each indexed. So I think what we want to do now is first do the sliding window thing, and there is a function in Kotlin for that. I think it's called windowed, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so windowed, which will take a size of 3. So this is going to return, I'm not really sure, is it going to return a list of lists? Yeah. And then maybe what we can do is map those and just do sum. I think we can sum them. Sum or map by sum or something, I don't know. Probably first map them from strings to ints or something. We could actually do that for everything first. So first let's map them to ints. So this would be the string. Let's do int. Hello. Oh, so here, because there we've got strings. Then we window them. Then we map those windows so that they can be summed. Sum, which will return a bunch of ints. And these are now no longer just measurements, but these are measurement sums of those windows. We no longer need to do int, but for the rest it should be the same. Let's see if we are correct. It's still 7. It's not that we are, oh, it's solve2. It's interesting. Yeah, we cannot use depth measurements, of course. What we need to do is check versus. So first let's assign this. So these are the measurement sums, I guess. Measurement sums. And this is a one measurement sum. And now we need to do the same on these. Voila. Let's run it. Voila. And then our answer is going to be 1822. Let's find out if that's indeed the case. Yay! There we go. Solved in 28 minutes. Now we only have to wait 10 hours. Alright, great. Now let's find some other solutions. Ow. Maybe we can first commit this and then show the refactor. We can make it prettier than this. Solved day 1. Both parts. We should get double stars, huh? Okay. Voila. Commit. And we'll just push this stuff now. Voila. Now let's try to improve our code. So what we could have done here as well is first map them to an integer. So we'll do map it to int. Then we don't need to do that over here. Neither here. Oh. We've got an issue there. Huh? Here we don't need it because it's the same thing. So what we would have done here would be also extracted. So these will be the actual depth measurements. Or maybe let's rename this back again into as strings or something, or depth measurement input. And then we can convert that into depth measurements. And we'll just do to int. And then we can use these. We don't need to do that anymore. Huh? Okay. So what's happening here is we are basically mapping a list of integers to one single integer. So we're reducing, you could say. So that would mean we need to do reduce, but that doesn't exist in Kotlin, but fold does. And you can also pass an index to that thing. So what we could do is fold starting with 0. And then we need our function. So let's replace the for each with the index thing. And then you'll get your accumulator. So this is the increases, I think. Increases, which will allow us to get rid of that. Then we can return this. And we no longer need that either. It looks like we're missing Oh yeah, we need to say return increases. I think. No, so it's like here, we need to return that. And now this cannot be increased. So we need to say return increase +1. And we'll have to do it like this, I think. Fold indexed like that. And otherwise we just don't increase. And I think this should already work, right? And then we'll just have refactored to not having an intermediary, what's it called? A variable that is being increased. Voilà. So that's one thing. Then maybe we can also get rid of this part because, we can't really, because we how do you say that? We need to refer to the previous thing is the previous measurement. So one way we could do that is by first zipping the list. So maybe it's better if I create a new Scratch file and show that in a REPL. So let's just do, I don't know, the example was 199, 200, 201, and then maybe 200 again, 210, 20, I don't know. If you then do zipped, zip it next, sorry. Normally it should be, you should see the output here. Yeah, voila. And you always get pairs, you see. So what we can then do, we don't include the first one, which is already super nice. And we can just compare both of these pairs all the time with each other. Then we no longer have a reason to use an index. So then what we could do is say, let's just return that to a boolean or something, or an integer. So we can map that, and what we can say is pairs or something, or maybe we can say immediately destructure it, previous current, and then we can say if previous is smaller than current, then we return 1, else we return 0. And now you can see between those two we've increased, between those two we've increased, so 1 1. Here we didn't increase or decreased, and then etc, etc. And then the only thing we need to do next here is just sum those, and then we've got the amount of increases we got. So let's do this map. Well, I think it's already here now. Let's go to testing. So we'll leave the to int, but then we'll just do zip with next, map that with previous and current, sum those things, and see if we can just instantly return this. Let's run it. Nice. So now you can see that IntelliJ is already saying, yo, why are you not combining both map and sum? Great suggestion if it would be compiling. I don't really know. So can we say that this returns a pair of ints or something instead? I wonder what the type of this is, because it should be int, no? Let's do that. Specify type, I think. Yeah, voila, it's a list of integers. What you talking about, Willis? Yo, Topher, what's up? We fixed the first one, but I'm improving my code, and I was just following IntelliJ's suggestion to use sum of, and then all of a sudden sum of is ambiguous, so maybe we need to help IntelliJ out a bit that it's indeed a pair of integers or something, I don't know. Oh, sum of count. Why is that what does count do? Your code is not compiling, Christopher. Oh. I am. And then just return Boolean. Oh, nice. Sweet. Yeah, that's better. Very cool. So now we can apply the same thing to... maybe, are we done? I'm wondering if we're done. Because I don't like the fact that we're using integers, really. It would be cooler if we got measurements, like actual measurements. Here we need an integer, because that's just the amount of increases that are there. You know what? We can make these integers and then already use our smart function where we say parser or something. Parse width, and then we can Junge, what the hell? Parse width, yeah. To int, I guess. Now all of a sudden these are integers, a list of integers. But this is line 2. Should not have done that. We can do that later. Yeah, I think it always should be actually the strings then. And then we can turn this thing into not a to int, but to measurement, to depth measurement or something. It's always nicer. Then we'll add a new, let's call it a private function where we say, it was a string, right? Do depth measurement. Let's do a depth measurement of this to int. And then we'll do data class, or no, and it's one thing, so we'll do value class depth measurement. Then we can also drop the to int stuff, or push that to the constructor or something, where we say, no, I don't want to. Okay, let's do private value, which is an int, and then I also want a secondary constructor that takes in a string. Which then returns a value to int. There we go. And then we can put a compare function on a depth measurement or something. Yeah? Well, I guess we still want to write it like that. It's maybe a bit too silly. You can't really see it, eh? It's so silly. So let's do other. And then really what happens is we should just delegate that to say this, or just do underscore value compared to other dot value. Make that expression body. Put that under the constructor maybe. Voila. And it did nothing to our code, but at least it's more explicit now that we're working with depth measurements and not integers. Don't know why. Maybe it will come in handy later. Who knows what they'll give us next, huh? Who knows? All right, I guess it's still working. I'm not really sure. Let's find out, huh? Did you also solve it in Kotlin, Topher? Or was it a different language that you're going for? Were you going for Rust? I keep forgetting. I'm blanking on all that stuff. So let's do puzzle 2 the same way. Oh, you do smell Kotlin, Johnny the Carrot! And it smells delicious. You are going for Rust. Wait, yeah, so I'm spoiling everything for you. Oh, Ambarth is also here. Nice. Delicious Kotlin indeed. Yeah, really, we can do exactly the same here. So first we'll do a windowed. Do you happen to know the Killed by Google website? I do not. Was it killed by Google? Oh yeah. So the buy thing, I really don't get that well enough. So it should be like this, I think. So you say it's an integer and then you do by underscore value, I think, or something like that. Or do you mean this part? Oh, canceled projects. Oh man. Damn. Christopher, how would you do that? I don't understand by syntax. Yeah. Yeah, I also don't want to subclass from int, so I don't know how that would work. Because if you do by int, that won't compile, I don't think, because you have to say, or sorry, I mean by value or something. This doesn't work. Oh, fellow Belgian. And you came by a while ago. Yeah, the name rings a bell, but yeah, I tried int by value, but then what am I trying to do? I'm trying to solve, well, I actually already did solve the first day of the advent of code puzzles. Ta-da! So I got 2 stars already, but now we're just refactoring for shits and giggles. You cannot implement inline classes. Makes sense. I don't want to implement an integer. I want value classes. Or maybe you meant to otherwise you can, it's no different than using a type alias, I think. That would be much easier. Oh, the specific by, yeah. So Topher suggested doing that because what we're doing here is really, we are delegating everything of depth of measurement stuff by this value, in fact, so which is an integer. And you can say that on a function, I think, but you can also say that on maybe we can do this. Okay, that doesn't work. No, I don't know. There is a way to do that. No generics. Let's Google it. Kotlin by delegates. The delegation pattern. Yeah. So it's sort of a way to create an instant adapter. Because we're saying derived is a base and you should compose it. So I use this thing. So implement everything of base by B and then add some more stuff on this derived class, for example. I guess here they don't really show the, how do you say that, the benefit of that. I guess here they do because they are overriding some stuff. Yeah, it's useful, but it's also really confusing, I think. I don't really like using it a lot. Delegated properties. Yeah, it's not for my use case, indeed. There's another way, yeah, because, yeah, voila. You could do get and set value. And then you can delegate the way that this string is being provided or mutated using this delegate, which could be really useful for example, mutating aggregates with commands or with events. And you can just say this variable or whatever or thing, you can delegate that using the event, so by event. No, not really. I first want to solve or complete the refactoring and then we'll look at your website, okay? So again, let's be consistent there. So this would be the input. And we can do the same thing as here. So we'll first map it to depth measurements. That would be like that. We plan to return it, so it's just like that. Then I think what we want to do is we want to window those things. And now if we do map it.sum, I think we need to implement this thing. So let's do create an extension function, indeed, on list. Yeah, that's fine by me. Alleen you muppet. I wanted it to be on depth measurements. Yeah. And this we'll just implement by saying some by my measurement. Oh, we can't. Maybe what we want to do instead then. What language should I use again in the assignment? They also call it windowed or windows or something. 3 measurements sliding window. Windows. No. Measurement windows maybe? I don't know. So once you have this, what we should do probably is say to windows. Nay, let's get rid of that. We don't want to do this either. We want to say no, we in any case we need to be able to access the value. Doen we toch. I don't know why I would do this. You can't mutate it anyway. Let's not make it private and then just rename it to value. So, and then we want to like that. So maybe not sum them. Yeah, why not? Let's do this thing again. Yeah. So on a list of depth measurements, which is really more specific, it should be only 3 in here. I want to return. Oh, goodbye. Bye, Topher. Have fun solving this thing. I want to sum by. How come it's deprecated there? Let's see what it suggests. Huh? So we've got it.value then. See you, Johnny the Carrot. Stay safe, you as well. Merry Christmas. Yeah. Okay. So it's sum of turned into sum of apparently. Okay. Did not know. Now we do. Okay. So then we've got sums again. Yeah, and then we can do the same thing we did here, where we just count. Nee, we need to zip it next first. Voila. And then we count. Voila. I don't know if this is better or not. You know, let's figure it out. Don't know why I'm running both tests now. Oei. Ah yeah, we just didn't correct it. Voila. Cool, cool, cool. Oh. I didn't know that. Call chain on us. Well, why? Why does it suggest that here and not here? Is it because there's too much stuff going on or something? I don't know. Okay, maybe what we could do as well now is say a depth measurement sum. We could combine both of these, I think. And then just, or maybe even... Yeah, let's try this. What does that do? If I say, do depth measurement sums, and then let's pass window equals 3 or something, and then we'll just create an extension function on strings. Window size, I think they call it. Window, we had to do window. Not just return anything, it should return depth measurement sums. Which maybe what we want is we want 3, like a pair of 3 then. No, but it needs to be this size. Then we don't want that. So apparently it's not really extensible now, but it is really what they wanted. So let's make this into a class and give it a data class or whatever. Call it depth measurement sum. It takes 3 values. You can private those, I think. A measurement 1 or something. And then 2, 3. And here we can return, this is on a sequence of strings. Return this, map. And then we cannot say just it sum. Oh, maybe we can, in fact. So instead of doing sum of, what we'll do is we'll create depth measurement sum. This is tricky. Because what I could do here is destructure that into measurement 1, 2, 3, and then create. But there's no guarantee that I'll have 3 measurements. Maybe it's the other way around as well. We also don't want to map then. I don't think I could do destructuring here, in fact. That maybe what I should do is take 3 or something instead. So take 3. That will just give me a list of 3 anyway. That doesn't make sense. Let's do a let then, maybe. Try with a let. Yeah. So if I do a let on a map, then I can map that list and then return this. And what is going on? How are these integers though? What is M1? A depth measurement? Wait, I need a depth measurement sum. I'm stupid. So. Then what? we've got the sum thing. Great. It's not compiling at all. So we first map it to depth measurements. Good lord. Then we say window those things. Then you should... I don't want one. I want a list of these, of course. Because then they're bundled by 3. At least that's what I think this thing does. Oh yeah. Not a list, but a sequence. Then we do zip with next, and now we have to implement compare to on the sum. We'll call this other. And now we can just delegate to sum these things. Let's say return this dot sum dot compare to other dot sum. And then we'll write a private function sum, which returns an int, which just list of measurement 1, measurement 2, 3, sum. Oh yeah, sum of value. Then we convert to expression body, zizo, and then that should work as well. And I think our actual solution just looks like this then. We'll put that as a sequence. I don't really know why that needed to be done, but yeah, there you go. We'll say map them to depth measurement sums, then bundle them, and then perform your count to measure how many increases there were, basically. Maybe that's something that's even more interesting would be to return it like that. An increased, no change, and then a decreased. But we don't need any of that, I don't think. I mean, we didn't need any of the refactoring that we did, honestly, but it's fun to do, to push it to its extents. So clearly the depth measurement sum thing is now something that always takes 3 depth measurements, and both this sum here and that is really tightly coupled. So it's not like, yeah, I think I want to inline this. It doesn't make any sense. As an extension function, huh? No. Voila. Now it's much more obvious that we want 3 things in our window that we can then pass destructure to a depth measurement sum, which takes 3 measurements. Voila. Very cool. Yeah, and now if we want to refactor that, or instead of using the compare to, for example, to return whether or not it increased by, I don't know, an enum or whatever, and then instead of just counting the comparison, we can just count the amount of increases that are in the lists, for example. No, I think this is good enough, yeah. All right. I can't wait for tomorrow. I think I'm gonna leave it at this. Maybe what I want to do though is I want to put this in production code. So, I wonder if depth measurement sum, if that's something that all of this stuff can be private to, I think, eh? Ah, nee, do depth measurement. This is something we want public. Ah, nee, because we're gonna pull solve with it as well. Okay, nice. So then that means this class can be private as well as this one. Sweet. Yep. And then we'll just move that to a new file in here somewhere. So not common, but day one. Let's create a Kotlin file for day one or something. Huh? Bam. Oi. Bam. It doesn't look like it copied the the solves. Nee, tju toch. That wasn't ideal. Voila. What if I get rid of this and move this to lists again? And maybe it would be better if these are first depth measurements. Then we don't need this statement here, but we'll do this dot windowed. Voila. So first we just put them to depth measurement, then we'll move them into sums, aka group them. Then zip with next to get the previous and the current so that we can compare, and then just do the comparison again. And that's really, really explicit also to what the solution or the puzzle describes. Because first we just needed to measure or compare depth measurements. And then all of a sudden we had to group them in windows of 3. And compare those, basically, compare those sums, which is exactly what we did. Nice. Now maybe move them a bit closer to together, because this one we want to be lower. Oh, why? IntelliJ, don't do that stuff to me, man. Let's put it there. Hello. Or put it here. Voila. Very cool. Alright, that's all our code. We have to make sure that we rerun, because this was the correct solution and it should be green. Voila. So let's commit this stuff. Refactored day one to a more functional style and more type safe. One could say more idiomatic. All right, feel free to look at the repository or the code in your own leisure. I'll share the link over here. Voila. And then probably see you tomorrow for the next exercise. Don't forget to put AOC 2021 in Kotlin in your GitHub repository if you're also solving it in Kotlin. To make, or to get a chance at getting a prize. And then I'll see you, yeah, probably tomorrow, like I said. Thanks for hanging out and helping out, in fact. And maybe see you tomorrow. Peace, deuces, yo yo yo.